RMC, or Rocky Mountain Construction, have recently unveiled a brand new roller coaster model called the RMC Wild Moose coaster. This is a redesigned and modernised version of a classic Wild Mouse coaster, and I believe this is a great new family thrill coaster option that could suit multiple UK theme parks perfectly and would be a great coaster addition to add to UK parks across the country. Stick around to find out why. Welcome to Coasternaut, and if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe for future updates and news on RMC and their new coasters, as there'll be plenty more news updates if we hear anything more regarding a new Wild Moose coaster coming to a park in the UK or any park around the world. So then, the RMC Wild Moose coaster. This is a brand new coaster concept recently unveiled by American manufacturer RMC Rocky Mountain Construction, and this is a brand new take on the classic Wild Mouse coaster formula. The traditional Wild Mouse coasters from multiple manufacturers such as Arrow, Zamperla, Mack Rides and Revachon feature lift hills and then lots of repeated 90-degree tight turns and some small janky drops. This new RMC Wild Moose coaster though is very different to that and is inspired by these unique sort of old-fashioned Wild Mouse coasters, but also builds on that in what the actual reveal trailer is calling unmistakably RMC. So these Wild Moose coasters are inspired by the amazing and wacky unique RMC hybrid coaster pre-lift sections that you can see footage of here in the video. And these pre-lift sections are slow, but they allow you to get ready and hyped for the upcoming ride by giving you some mini out-of-bound turns, some mini airtime hills and little drops that make you laugh and giggle and give you small brief moments of ejected airtime and lots of crazy lateral forces. In the announcement video of the RMC Wild Moose coaster concept, there are a few notable points. A brand new type of train for RMC that allows smaller guests to ride this coaster with a potential height restriction of just 42 inches. That makes this concept a truly family-friendly coaster. These trains are also very open and look very comfortable with just a lap bar restraint. RMC is one of the most popular and famous and probably best coaster manufacturers out there right now, but their biggest complaint is easily their trains, especially for taller or larger guests. There is often complaints that they're very painful on some of their very thrilling and more forceful rides, and so introducing a new coaster train like this is really interesting, as there is potential in the future that this train could also be added to their more popular iBox steel hybrid coasters. These trains are very comfortable by the looks of it, and they're very open. And contrary to most old Wild Mouse coasters, which are just singular cars of 4 riders, this concept introduces a train of 8 rows of 2 riders, which will increase the capacity of a traditional Wild Mouse coaster, which is one of the complaints of traditional Wild Mouse coasters. They don't have great capacity, and therefore they are not great in larger parks and often seen in smaller parks. Individual sections after each row of seats also will allow this train to navigate very tight twists and turns, allowing for some of the tightest transitions ever seen on a coaster, which makes this RMC Wild Moose a very modernised version of a traditional Wild Mouse coaster. It is not trying to reinvent the wheel, it is trying to improve and build upon a very old-fashioned Wild Mouse formula whilst taking a modern RMC twist on this formula. I believe this is a genuinely fantastic family ride coaster option and can see this going to parks all over the world. These coasters will use the beloved RMC iBox steel track, and so will be buttery smooth for all guests to enjoy. I think this coaster concept will be great for replacing many older Wild Mouse coasters, as most parks that have a Wild Mouse ride are very old and are most likely coming to the end of their life cycle. Just this year we've seen Sand Serpent at Busch Gardens Tampa be removed, and that is an older Wild Mouse coaster, so I imagine that a lot of parks that do have Wild Mouse are getting to the end of their life cycle, and therefore I can see a Wild Moose coaster from RMC being added to many of these parks in replacement of their old Wild Mouse coasters, as a new, quick and easy option that can't be too expensive and can also fit on the same small footprint and won't cost much money. That brings me on to the final point in this video. I believe this is a fantastic option for many theme parks and attractions here in the UK. Blackpool Pleasure Beach removed their old wooden Wild Mouse coaster a few years ago, and in my opinion this would be a fantastic great option to replace that coaster, as nothing has been put in that area of land right now, and it's not a very big area of land like I say, so something like this would fit perfectly in that area. There is an off-the-shelf clonable model of this ride, and therefore many small parks can take this on and they can fit it in any area around their park. I can also see this, like I say, going to Blackpool because it pays respect and heritage to their older coasters and pays respect to the park's history without just dumping in a random new smaller coaster. Family parks such as Paultons Park or Drayton Manor, or even some of the smaller chains like Gulliver's Parks, could also really benefit from a coaster like this and would serve as a great coaster to introduce younger guests and thrill seekers into RMC and some different forces and elements that they may not yet have experienced or ridden on other family and junior coasters before. I can't see this going to bigger parks like Alton Towers or Thorpe Park for capacity reasons, but some other bigger parks like Flamingo Land or Oakwood here in the UK could get one of these in my opinion, because they aren't quite as busy as some of those larger parks and would benefit from an RMC Wild Moose coaster. So, to conclude this short video, I truly love the RMC Wild Moose concept, and I can see this definitely getting lots of installations over the coming years in parks across the world, and I don't think it will genuinely be too long before we see one of these RMC Wild Moose coasters coming to a theme park here in the UK, and finally bringing that beloved RMC coaster to the UK that we've all been craving as enthusiasts for so long, although admittedly it's not exactly the hyper hybrid coaster that we all wish would come to the UK. Although it's never too late, Thorpe Park, I know you want to build one. So what did you make of this topic? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comment section down below. Could we see an RMC Wild Moose coaster come to a UK park, and what are your thoughts on the model as a whole? Like I say, I truly love this model and I can see one coming to the UK, but what are your thoughts? Do you think it looks just like a normal old-fashioned boring Wild Mouse, or do you love the model too? If you can't see one coming to the UK parks, what park in the world do you think will install an RMC Wild Moose coaster first? If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.